corrupt Drug Enforcement Administration agent known as the White Devil.
Here you see the federal narcotics agent known as the White Devil, and he's been sentenced to 13 years in prison for several corruption counts. This is the corrupt agent that Jay Prince said that they sent after him as a hitman to try to take him down by any means possible. Chad Scott was found guilty of stealing money from suspects, falsifying government records, and committing perjury during a federal trial. His sentencing capped a 5-year case that shook the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and convicted 3 other members of a New Orleans-based federal drug task force. Prosecutors say Scott broke every rule in the book, and they asked that he be sentenced to nearly 2 decades in prison. Scott said that he was ashamed, but he noted his contributions to law enforcement. The accusers included a Louisiana man who said Scott planted an ounce of marijuana in his truck in 2005, and a Houston man who said Scott twice lashed his mouth with a medallion on a necklace he was wearing during a 1999 arrest that brought no charges, then confiscated the chain and took nearly a year to return it. Scott was convicted in 2019 of orchestrating false testimony against a Houston-based heroin and cocaine trafficker, perjury that tainted the dealer's conviction and allowed him to walk free. The same federal jury found Scott falsified paperwork for a Ford F-150 pickup, a vehicle that he directed another drug trafficker to buy so that the DEA could seize it and give it to Scott. That brings us to 2021, when a separate federal jury convicted Scott and Rodney Jamar, a former member of his task force, in what prosecutors described as a long-running scheme to steal money and property from suspects that they arrested. 2 other former members of the task force, Johnny Domingo and Carl Newman, were accused of stealing cash and drugs and testified against Scott. They were both deputies for the parish sheriff's office, and they both served federal sentences after agreeing to cooperate with the government. Domingo since has been charged with a new federal drug trafficking charge in Texas. Scott is just one person among a growing list of DEA agents who have been accused of abusing their authority in recent years. At least a dozen DEA agents across the country have been criminally charged since 2015 on counts including wire fraud, bribery, and selling firearms to drug traffickers. Thanks for watching. If it's more interesting, you can find it here.